Hi, Alicia here. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to go through my Halfoweenathon TBR. Boo! Halfoweenathon is an annual read-along hosted by Megan and Sue at the Spinebreakers. I will link their channel and their announcement video below. Halfoweenathon is a perfect excuse to celebrate being halfway to Halloween by doing some challenges and reading some spooky books. I am extra stoked for Halloween this year because I learned that Halloween is on a Saturday. It is daylight savings time, so we get an extra hour of Halloween, and there is also a full moon on Halloween this year. So it's just going to be a wild day. Who knows what'll happen? It's just the stars aligned on that one for this year. So Halfoweenathon goes from April 24th to 30th. That is a week, and there are 5 reading challenges associated with the readathon. So I will go through the 5 challenges and I will go through the books that I hope to read. There is no way in heck that I can read 4 or 5 books in a week, so I'm gonna double up my prompts as I can because I make the rules on what I read. So yeah, let's get into those challenges and let's get into those books. The first Halfoweenathon challenge is to read a book with black or orange on the cover. So you can just go to your bookshelves, peruse your books, see what meets that criteria, and read that. So for the first challenge, I will be reading We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This coincidentally has black and orange on the cover, so we're golden. We Have Always Lived in the Castle is Shirley Jackson's, I believe it was the last book that she wrote before she died. This is a gothic mystery horror about 2 sisters and their uncle who live on an estate in Vermont. I believe the mystery comes in because these sisters may or may not have poisoned and killed their entire family. So really stoked to get into this one. It's a nice little short one to kick off a readathon. So that's good. The second prompt is to read a book and then watch the movie adaptation of it. So for that one, I'm also just gonna stick with We Have Always Lived in the Castle. I learned that there was a movie adaptation in the 2000s that came out, so I'm gonna read this book and then I'm gonna check out that movie. Easy peasy, killing 2 birds with 1 stone there, with a nice little shorty for the week. The third reading challenge is to read a book that features something supernatural. So for that, I will be reading Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. This book was also coincidentally on my D20 April TBR challenge anyways, so I had to read this book anyways. So it's just, everything's really working out for this Halfoweenathon TBR. So Summer of Night is a horror by Dan Simmons. It is a coming-of-age, children against evil horror, which is 2 of my favorite horror tropes. It is about 5 boys in 1960 Illinois who, over the course of the summer, some sort of supernatural evil starts taking over this town. So I don't know if they take it upon themselves to fight this evil, or if they're just the lens through which we see this evil, but I am super here for it. This is a chunky one, so this will take me the majority of the week to read. But I am looking forward to getting into Summer of Night for this prompt. The fourth reading challenge is to read a book with a spooky word in the title. So if it takes me a really long time to read Summer of Night, I'm just going to count the word night as being a spooky word. Don't at me, these are my rules. But if for some crazy twist of fate that I do manage to finish Summer of Night and We Have Always Lived in the Castle within the week, I will be picking Piercing by Ryu Murakami for this prompt. I read In the Miso Soup by him last year, and that book was wild. It took me for a trip, took me places I didn't know I wanted to go, took me places that I didn't want to be at, but I found myself there anyways. So I was super into his writing, I was super into his imagination and where he went with his stories. So Piercing is about a young couple, newly parents. It is from the perspective of the husband and father, and he is him and his wife and their newborn child, except he just has having these really dark and like overpowering fantasies and compulsions about stabbing his newborn child. So I guess he like finds himself just over this crib looking at this baby with this like internal horror about him stabbing his child. So I feel like it's gonna be like a psychological, like compulsive horror. Like, does he do it? Does he not? I don't know. I don't know where Murakami's gonna go with this, but his books are wild. So this is another little shorty. So if I can finish Summer of Night and We Have Always Lived in the Castle, I'm gonna sneak piercing in here. Piercing's a scary word. That's a thing that's spooky. So that's what we're gonna do with that one. The fifth challenge is not a reading challenge, but it is a fun challenge. It is to make a Halloween costume using only things that you have available in your house or decorating your house for Halloween. So I love Halloween. I love it so much. I love the experience of it. I love the spookiness. I love the scariness. I love the movies. I love the books. I love the just getting spooked out. But I do not like dressing up. It is just not my thing. I've never liked it. I totally love everybody else dressing up. I love seeing what everybody else is gonna do, but I'm just not into it myself. But here I am in April. I'm gonna fully spook up my house. So I already grabbed a few little spooky decorations here, but you know I'm gonna go all out and decorate this house up for this week. Gotta get into that mood. If you want to partake in Halfoweenathon, please do. Let me know what you're going to read, and maybe I'll read some of those later down the line. If you have any recommendations for these prompts, let me know. If you want some recommendations for some of these prompts, let me know that too. Let's read some Halfoweenathon books. Till next time. Bye, pals.